Welcome to Mile High Reefers. I'm Scott Anderson, and I've been doing quite a bit of work on the 24-gallon Nano lately, and it's really coming along well. I've really redone this side of the tank. I've got big plans for it, so let's take a look at it and see where it's at. And here it is in all its glory. This tank is doing fantastic. The two fish in here are doing really well. We've got that black and white clownfish who spent a good week in the back overflow chamber since he jumped in there. And then we've got that Scopus tang. He's getting a little big for this tank these days, but I think we can squeeze him out in here for a little while longer. I love having a tang in this little tank, and eventually I'm either gonna have to upgrade this tank or move that fish. This tank is doing really well except for dino flagellates, and I've been taking care of them with just water changes. But it's been about a year, and I am going to try Microbacter 7 to see if that fixes it. So I'll update you guys as this story develops. The zoas in this tank continue to thrive. I've really devoted a large portion of this tank to zoas, and it's for good reason. They are some of the most beautiful corals in the hobby. They're relatively easy to keep. They love the highlight, and you know what? Most of them are pretty inexpensive. The only real problem my zoas are having are with those stupid teal pallies. I pull them out with tweezers every once in a while, but really lately I haven't been diligent enough at that. My little bounce mushroom really doesn't like the highlight. It's grown under a ledge just because that's where the lower light is, and really it's getting a little light from straight down, but most of it's reflected off the sand. Someday I'll have to put a piece of this in the big tank where it can really thrive. This weird little Lobo thing we got at Reef Sock 2016, so I've had it for about 4 years. It's starting to split into two mouths. I don't even know exactly what it is. So if you know, throw it in the comments column. It was sold to me as a Lobo, but it looks more scully, but it's definitely not as scully. I don't know what this thing is, but the color's cool. It's been really healthy, unlike you'd expect from a 4-year-old Lobo, and it's always got those feeders out. My little pink chalice continues to thrive. It's under really high light. This is ultra low nutrients. I don't think I get quite the growth rate out of it I would if I was constantly dosing this tank and had a little more nitrate, phosphate, and food going in here, but it does really well. Behind it are the Interstellar Mushrooms, which continue to do really well in here. I've got some in the 210-gallon under lower light, and honestly, these guys prefer the lower light to the higher light. I've got my gold lepto growing next to the jack-o'-lantern. They're in a really weird lighting position where it goes from super high light to full shadow, and that's where leptos thrive. These guys can kind of take both, and I really love them as a low light coral, but hey, if they go to highlight, most of the time they can handle that as well. My Hollywood Stunner Chalice continues to be stunning. It's just a fantastic, easy to take care of coral. Some people hate these because of their growth. They can grow explosively, but as long as you frag it, it's not a big deal. Next to it's my Heliofungia. This is a really cool coral. I've got it mounted to the rockwork. Long story short, it can be done with the smaller specimens, but it's absolutely beautiful, and I love it right where it's at. Behind the Helio is my Fiji Favia, and I'm really stoked about this. This coral has been down in a different position for years, but I found this little cutout that it fit in perfectly, and it made it come out like this branch, so it looks like it's growing out of the reef. It loves that spot. It's loving the light, the flow, everything about it, and I absolutely love that mounting. It's perfect. Next to it is the green cabbage coral. I love this coral. It's doing fantastic right here. Then there's my Monipora setosa, and as we move to the back of the tank, everything's gonna be out of focus. I've got a curved front glass, it gives me a lensing effect, and it just is what it is. But Setosa is absolutely my favorite Monipora. When it grows out, it looks like an acro. It is so bright and gorgeous. This piece is amazing. And then I've also got this WWC Mani. It's part of their grafting one. I really don't know the name of it. And behind it is that super green encrusting Monty. I absolutely love both of these. I do not dose this tank. I do it all with water changes, and these thrive in here. My bird's nest is thriving in here. It's growing fast. The coloration's amazing. I wish it was in focus so you could see the full glory of it, but I keep a piece in the Nano and I keep a piece in the 210-gallon Reef, basically so I have copies, because when a tank crashes, these like to go south and there's not a lot of chances of saving it. The downside is it's starting to shade out my green Slimer acro, so I need to do something to get more light to that acro. I've also added some coral recently. This is a Christmas leather or a Sphincter Coral. Yes, that is the common name for it. I'm gonna move it out of this tank. It's non-photosynthetic. It'll do better than the 210. Plus, it's a really cool coral, and where it's at, I can't really film it. My main focus on this tank lately, besides the dyno, has been redoing this right side of the tank. I've never had it to where I've liked it, so now I've decided I'm gonna make it a soft coral section. This tank absolutely thrives with soft coral, so why fight it? Let's put some of my favorite soft corals in there and make this tank amazing. My most recent coral purchase is this blushing leather. It's an Indo coral, so now that Indo is back, I had to pick this one up. This one I picked up from Aquarium Supply Distribution, or formerly Aquametic Live. Yes, even though I don't work there, I still love those guys. So I've added the corals that I did my frag gripper video to this tank. This one is a devil's hand. Here's the green Sinularia. My toadstool I put in a really bad location. I'm gonna have to move it. And my long tentacle Fiji toadstool is settling in nicely. I've also got some purple Leptocerus back here. It's right on the edge of highlight and shade, so this is the perfect coral for this location. And then there's my Kriptonite candy cane. This stuff is inexpensive. It's available everywhere. It's absolutely gorgeous. And in this tank, it absolutely thrives. I've got a pretty good sized colony, which has been fragged multiple times over the years. So there we go. This tank is killing it. My goal with this tank is to make it as easy to keep as possible. Really, someday I'd like to upgrade it to a 65-gallon JBJ, but for now, I manage this tank with water changes alone. So that's the goal going forwards. Easy coral, easy stuff to take care of that's absolutely beautiful. I haven't done a water test on this tank in months. That's not bragging, that's me being lazy. That's not how you run a tank. But you know what? For the nano tank that I don't pay enough attention to, being able to just change out a bucket of water and just expect it to continue to thrive is working perfectly. So I'm running a lot of light, low nutrients, and easy coral. Maybe not the best recipe, but it's a recipe for a tank that I personally love. So thanks for watching this episode of Mile High Reefers. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.